I'll admit that any sort of auto-battling feature in a game is something that I tend to stay away from. With thousands of hours in the Total War franchise, I know that I can strategically place units to get the most out of them, but with most auto-battlers, what ends up happening is all your units kind of just clump together and just kind of swing at each other until eventually one of them becomes the winner. And with Steam Next Fest running, a game caught my eye from their aesthetics, and I chose to give it a shot to see if there was something that would keep me hooked. But what is this game? And is it something that you should be interested in? Stay tuned to find out. Developed and published by Sad Socket, Nine Kings is an upcoming game that looks to combine the best of city building, roguelikes, auto-battling, and strategy. In Nine Kings, you fight massive battles against various kingdoms, each with their own specialty, like the King of Greed, whose grip on finances is strong but lacks manpower, or the King of Spells, who has strong casters who are great at a distance but kinda need an army in front of them to prevent melee combat. Each turn sees you drafting a new card to add to your hand, and once your hand dwindles down to 2 cards, the day ends. All of your buildings activate their various powers, and then you send your army out to face the newest threat. Managing your city, your economy, and even your enemies is key if you want to become King of Kings. I booted up Nine Kings with a good amount of hesitancy, but after getting a few rounds under my belt, the strategy involved started to unravel. It'll take a few playthroughs to understand what you're going to encounter in the draft of cards, allowing you to get a better ability of placing your buildings in the most impactful locations, but I would highly recommend just never placing your castle in the middle, because although my first playthrough went well, I noticed how terrible of a decision that was to make. When you begin, you are at war with a few other kingdoms, including a rebel faction of your own kingdom. And these kingdoms that you're at war with will not only dictate what armies you face each day, but also what types of cards you can have available to draft each day. If any enemy reaches your castle, you lose a life, and if all 3 lives are gone, then you lose the run. Each king has a special power that can be used with the click of the mouse that ranges from lobbing boulders to spawning minions, and that kinda helps keep you more invested once the fighting begins so that you don't just passively watch it all unfold. As you progress, you have to declare on another kingdom, which actually increases the cards that you're allowed to draft. But at a later time, you can actually make peace with one of the kingdoms, and I may be overhyping this idea, but it was a really nice touch to be able to filter out all the different types of cards you want to no longer see, and it added just another layer of strategic depth. I'm also not afraid to admit that after my first playthrough, I took a look at what the other kings would look like and thought to myself, I wonder how many kings are in this game. 9! Thank you to my former associate for lending me a hand there, and I think there was a hint in the title of the game, but my brain didn't quite accept that answer apparently. Anyways, after playing with the other kings available in the demo, I got to learn their ins and outs alongside noticing the meta progression that will make subsequent runs smoother. But another brain fart happened while I was playing revolving around the King of Greed. As mentioned before, the King of Greed primarily focuses on building a large economy and generally utilizes turrets to handle most of the foes. After the last round, you were offered to keep playing in an endless mode if you want, but I was ready to end my playtime, so why keep all the money I built up? I bought everything that I could so I could play a ton of cards in the last turn, only to remember that the amount of mercenaries I have is directly proportional to the amount of gold I currently have, and because I just spent all of my money, yeah. So yeah, that didn't really end too well for me, but it once again struck a chord with me about how to best manage your army and the strategies involved with each different faction. After I finished playing, I went to Sad Socket's website where they had a roadmap posted showcasing their intentions of releasing the additional kings slowly throughout the process of a year. Although I believe the intention is to release the game with 6 of the 9 playable kings and then add more content as it goes on. I unfortunately cannot verify this information though, as while writing this script I went back to the website only to see that there's actually a good amount missing, like the trailer for the game alongside the roadmap. I mean, that being said, I don't think it really raises too many alarms, but it is something worth noting. In the end, I actually had a surprisingly fun time playing the demo for Nine Kings, and while it feels like I was just starting to get a grasp of the game, the devs have showcased these insane builds from other players that have shown that the depth of this game is tremendous. It is a little unfortunate how much of the game we're going to have to wait to get, but I do think there's enough for the initial release to keep you busy for a while, and at an expected price of around $7 according to their press kit, I can see people getting their money's worth when it does release sometime in April. But with that, that'll be it for this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, be kind to one another. Shoutouts go to Relativity, Naughty Dog is King, Chaos, and Kamikalo, alongside all those subbed to the channel. Another list is coming your way for the next video, so head on over to the Discord if you want to influence what will make it on there, but either way, I will see you soon.